Hi, my name is Brooke Lipman.
And I'm Dr. Deb Lipman.
And this is Wine Together,
a podcast where we drink some wine and have a chat.
So sit back, relax, and get that corkscrew ready.
Cheers, salute, whatever we say in Portugal. I think I forgot to look that up. So sorry.
I have to
ask.
Salte.
Something like I don't know. We'll have to ask our friend. And today's show is about art. Mm-hmm. And we have a couple of artists in our family, and we're going to praise them to the high heavens. So if that's going to offend somebody, sorry. But I got good things to say about my artists. So I think Brooke probably knows where this is going, but we'll save that for later. But yeah, we went to the art museum the other day. Mm-hmm. What did you think?
We went a while ago.
Oh gosh, you're right. It has been a while ago. Everything is the other day to me. Sorry. At 59 years old, especially we do so much. In fact, a friend of mine was asking not too long ago on Facebook, is that how y'all do is hike? Because I put a lot of our hiking stuff on our Facebook. Mm-hmm. And also your dad and I have a separate hiking Instagram page. Mm-hmm. And so this person says, is that how y'all do is hike? And I went on this long answer to her, in one, to say how grateful I was to her for our little chats that we have on Facebook. Just little chats about the pictures that each of us post. This person lives at the beach in North Carolina. Absolutely stunning photos that she posts with her dogs. Her dogs running around the beach. So she's just recently, I don't think she's fostered now. I think she's kind of adopted a new dog. Anyway, I said, oh my goodness, I think that, I'm so grateful for the conversations we have back and forth, or the chats we have back and forth. But, I love your photos too. I said, but no, we don't just hike, we ride our bikes around because we don't have a car. We just, do things. I said, but my biggest, sadness is that, we don't have all our kids here. Mm-hmm. And, they're doing the things, that they're living their lives. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of hard to bring everybody to another country. One, what if this is not what they want? It's not my place to tell them what to do. Mm-hmm. But if it is what they want, then maybe I'll try to help them figure out a way to make that happen. Mm-hmm. But anyway, it's just, so my sadness is that I can't visit them as often as I want. But honestly, like you said, you don't feel safe necessarily visiting. So, we're just going to have to figure out ways to do things. So we definitely need, to have more kind of family meetings on Zoom, I think. But, and just some check-ins. Mm-hmm. So I have started doing my twice a week check-in with my kids. So, and, they don't always respond, and I don't expect them to. I just need them to know that I'm checking in and saying, that I love you. And that kind of stuff. But anyway, we have two artists in our family. Well, actually, we have a family of artists. So, because art is not just drawing and painting or sculpting. Mm-hmm. Art is so much more than that. So, tell me your definition of art, Brooke, so I can drink some wine.
I don't know. It really depends. Everyone has a different definition of what they see as art, and I think what is most important is what each person finds from it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think you can really put a definition of art.
Yeah, well, as a person who needs everything in its box,
Yeah.
in my personality, I think you can define it.
No, I
but
think that's the problem is you can't put art in a box like that.
well, I get that. Trust me, I get that. But I do think you could give a definition.
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
That's right. Nobody puts baby in the corner. I found that out in Copenhagen. Yeah, that's Denmark, right? I did find that out. But anyway,
well, it's from Dirty Dancing.
I know it is.
Okay, I wasn't
Billy.
sure if you.
Did you not know the story?
No, I've seen Dirty Dancing.
No, do you not know my story?
Oh, about Dirty Dancing?
No.
No.
Okay. Late in a few minutes, I promise.
I probably do.
Okay, but I'm just saying, as somebody who kind of needs definitions for things, I can define it. But I agree with you in that everyone's perspective of it, it's not fair to put a perspective on it. But I definitely can put a definition to it in that it's just different branches of expression. Because, like I said, it's not just drawing, painting, and sculpting. Art is, just creative form, and music and podcasts, just filmmaking. Art is just so broad. And yes, there are professionals who make their career in critiquing art, and that's fair. In fact, I'm going to tell you one thing that I knew, but I couldn't take myself out of mama mode. But your brother, I don't know, junior, senior year in art college, a professor had said, no, this is not what I was looking for. Anyway, this happened to him not just in college, but also in high school. And the instructor said, this is not what I was looking for, blah, 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 blah. And so at that time, again, I had mama hat on. And I was like, no one can define your art. Only you, the artist, can define your art. But as an educator, I also understand there are rubrics and guidelines. And so I didn't have educator hat on. And so I wish I could have guided him in a way, but all I wanted to do was support. And I tend to support you guys very emotionally as opposed to pragmatic. And so there's some regret in my pragmatism as a mother, or lack of pragmatism as a mother. So, but that is what it is. But anyway, we have Rinn's art in the behind Brooke's head. So I want to mention, at least Rinn does have an Instagram page, Rose Boy Arts. So you can always go look at that. We'll put that in the show notes. So yeah, I'm astounded by, because I'm not the type of artist that can put pen to paper and create something. I can't do that. I just don't have. I don't know. I don't want to blame it on shaky hands or anything. I just mentally I can't envision what the pencil needs to do next to create a photo or a picture or something. I just am not that kind of artist. But I mean, I didn't even mention your art, dance. Tell me about that. What dance does, how it makes you feel, and why that's your art form.
That's really tough because, it's always been, super personal for me about, how I feel when I'm dancing. And it's really tough because, there's been times where that went away. That feeling.
That love, that, yeah. Oh, that's
and then, but
it's
then,
beautiful and sad at the same time. Say more.
But, when it's gone, it's worse.
Silly us. That does make me sad, because I do see a joy if when you dance.
I know, because I can't even talk about it.
But what do you mean when it's gone? The inability to continue, or just the lack of desire? Which one? I'm sorry. I didn't know how to do this.
It's so tough to find the place to be able to do it. Because it's not seen as an important, like, art.
It's seen as a
in
hobby.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Oh.
And so,
ooh. Yeah.
when you want to do it, like, I wanted to do it professionally, and then you go away from it for too long, that doesn't happen. It doesn't come back.
Yeah. I can see that. But I do hope through some space, some creator space, that you can find that joy and, you know, even if it's just for yourself, because obviously I don't see I don't see myself as any kind of artist. I mean, I just, I can create Google Docs to tell you how to clean your room. Okay. That's my art. But, I do know that watching my kids create their art it's just brought me so much joy. So I know that it must be something really deep inside of you that makes you want to do it. So I definitely want to encourage you to do it more. I hope that we can find the space. Somewhere there's the space for you to be the artist that you are. So we're going to work on that. I promise. And, I know that, it's not easy. I mean, and I don't want to be that person that says, oh, you're so young, you've got plenty of time. Because you know what? We don't know that. So my thing is, do it in the time that you're here. And if you happen to be able to do it for 98 years, woo! Live to be 120 and doing it for 98 of those years, kind of thing. So I definitely don't want to say, oh, you're so young, you've got plenty of time, because we just don't know that. And again, I've done what I wanted to do in my life. I wanted to be a mom that got to, see her kids, just doing what they love to do. And I've, been really blessed to be able to do that. So I kind of, so now I'm on the sidelines. And look, I know this is not dance, but you are involved in something new, and it's going on right now, this show, and, you are creating this image of you, and I think it's great. I mean, but I'm mom, so of course I think it's great. And and it's you've got this new group of people that are kind of like-minded. I mean, they it's so funny because even though their first language is not English, this group or some
most of them,
their first thing. Oh, I was thinking that their first language was not English.
Well, like one of the girls, she's from the U.S.
Yeah.
But moved to Switzerland when she was young.
Okay. So it's so fun because I was thinking the other day when we moved here, you were not graduated from high school. No. You were still what I would consider young. I know you felt like you were kind of older and you might have wanted to move here sooner, but
it would have been easier to learn the language.
Yeah, it would have been. That's been a thing, but we're learning and we're learning together, and so we're just gonna and that's artistic. It's learning a language because we all learn in different ways, and so that's kind of been different for me. So it's been, I mean, I don't want to say difficult, but I mean, it has been a little bit difficult, but I'm going to keep pushing forward and, keep going. So I think, I love that we can express ourselves differently than other people. And I'm just, everything has a place, and there's a little box for everything. And I know that's not easy for people to be around and live with. So, I think we all have just different ways we have to learn. But I'm going to say something, and I don't know how you feel about this, Brooke, and how we feel about this being out there. But my two that went to college to major in a type of art, like studio art. Well, your art, but
Okay,
the two that graduated before you, they went to, one was studio art and one was, well, I don't know what all Emilia had, but I think it started out as like a, I don't think it was called studio art. I think it might have just been called art, and then she had was doing a program, art therapy, but did not finish that program, and then has like a minor in like environmental studies and psychology. So she just, that brilliant mind. Okay. They're transgender, and I have struggled in hearing people politicize someone's identity, because do you say to them, "Oh, you're an artist, how nice," and then you just accept it? Why can't you just say, "Oh, you're transgender, how nice," and just accept it? Because it's not your business.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay,
this is not your business.
I'm just talking about your wording here specifically. Okay, how nice sounds a little. How nice sounds a little condescending. You say, oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's so funny because Justin said the same thing to me, because I grew up very southern in a very small town that was completely unincorporated, but it was near a lake, and so we used the word folk a lot. And I was saying something to Justin, and I said that word. He said, "Mom, I need you to not use that word." He said, because you that can come across as racist. So don't use that word. So I'm trying to like watch, and I completely accept that. One, I was not very well educated. I didn't grow up in a home where people valued other people. I'm not gonna lie. They didn't value other people and other people's opinions. They valued their own. Yep. And they were only right, and nobody else was right. And so I, as an adult, am learning every day. So I'm gonna accept and try to change every time my children tell me so. So in other words, when someone comes to you and says, "I'm an artist," you accept it. Yeah. And you might ask questions about it. But for some reason, that word, that adjective, and that's all it is an adjective helping that person define themselves to you so that you can get a better awareness and just appreciate them for being human.
To be fair, some people do not appreciate people when they say they're an artist, and like it is not actually as well accepted as you think it is.
Okay, well, maybe I'm just the weirdo out there, but I will say this: when someone tells us something about themselves, you have choices. You can accept it, move on. If you have questions and they don't mind you asking questions, I think that the questions can help you learn. If that's the purpose of your questions, not to be condescending and nasty to them, but to actually help yourself learn from them and their experiences. That's okay, I think. And so that's one choice you have. Or you can reject it and never deal with that person again. You can walk away. But what you should not do is try to say that person that there's something wrong with them. Because it's just not your business. It's not your business how someone lives their life. You know what? It's so weird. I'm seeing more and more men, cis men, with nail polish. And I'm not going to lie, when I first saw it, it was an Italian man that is a close part of our family. Don't y'all love our wide, diverse group of friends that we actually call family? Sorry. If you become into our, Brooke knows this, anybody that comes into our group, we tend to just make them family. So anyway, and he's an artist. And so when I first saw his nails painted, I thought, oh, he's an artist. I didn't think anything of it, but I'm not going to lie. At first, I didn't know how to feel about it. it's something inside of me, that judgmental person that was brought up in that household came out. And then I thought, he's a dancer. And also then it finally dawned on me, it's none of my business. And that's when it finally helped me, was for me to say to myself, Deb, that's none of your business. It's just not.
Yeah.
Because, one, he has 2 small kids. One of them is a daughter who probably wanted to paint his nails. Y'all used to paint your dad's nails. I mean, and he let you. Now, he wouldn't have gone to work with it. But so what? His choice, if he did or didn't. But anyway, I came to find out that, this is part of him. He likes this. And so now I'm seeing lots of videos, cisgendered men saying, I like to paint my nails. I like the colors. And so, and it's part of our, there's, your oldest brother likes to paint his nails. And so now I just will say, oh, I like this color. I wonder if so-and-so will like it. And I'll send it to them. Send them a bottle of nail polish. But again, we need to get to our sense of our being in the world. I think the only way we're going to get through and break through and allow kindness to win is to recognize that it's not our business. It's just not our business what someone else does with their body, in their bedroom, in their freaking bathroom. It's not our business. And it is never going to be the business of lawmakers. Never.
Thought we weren't supposed to get political.
I know, but we are. Because I'm just tired of this. I'm so sick of it. When I hear that people in high positions... This
has nothing to do with art now.
Okay, we're going back to art. But when I hear that people in high positions are wanting to call my artists nihilistic and put them in prison, I'm scared. And so I have to just at this point say, it's not your business. It's not your business, lawmakers. It's not your business. But that's all I got to say. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I think that when I think of, it's mainly because it's so personal to me. My artists, all my kids are artists. I mean, Mason is a writer. And yes, he's not doing that right now. And his heart breaks, I think, the same way yours breaks when he's gotten away from it. And so, that's, as a mother, I'm going to encourage y'all to get back to it. And so, I will say, and I know I get on your nerves. Well, you should do some dance. Well, you should plan dance into your day. Honestly, and I still believe it. I think let's get to a personal agenda, and you fill out your day.
It's just unfortunately there's no space.
I want to help you find space. I really, really do.
So you're gonna run it out for me.
I don't know. I just don't know. I would love to think that, maybe that's the solution. But, I don't know. I just, I want what brings you joy to be, a significant portion of your life. And I think that's what we learn from art is, and I do want to talk about that a few weeks ago where we went to the art museum. I have to say this. I was so upset. We went there, we planned on this because, again, we knew we were going to do an upcoming show in a few weeks on art. And I knew I was going to talk about my own artists in my family. But I wanted to get a sense of, kind of what we see when we go, into our little town, our little art museum. And when you walk up to it, there's an outside sculpture garden. There's even a sculpture of Napoleon. But he's far off from the garden. It's like he's walking toward it. And then there's, all these other different sculptures from different artists from all over the world, very diverse, like our little group of friends. And, it's so, I don't know, you feel like you're pulled into an art space, a creative space when I go there. Because it's kind of back behind the city. It's its own little world. And so we went in and we put our bags in the little box like we're supposed to. And then they tell us, oh, well, we're putting up new.
Yeah, it was in between like seasons.
Yeah, it was in between. And I only know the German word Ausstellung because I keep forgetting how to translate that to English. But it's almost like displays or featured artists. Exhibits, that's the word I'm looking for. Ausstellungen. And so she's telling us, neue Ausstellung, and so only nur oben, blah, blah, and so only upstairs. So we get rid of our bags and put them in the locker, and then we head upstairs. And everything was different. It wasn't just the paintings. You had a video thing where it was showing you all the different steps that they took to make this.
And lady, it was really interesting. I couldn't. It was really hard to tell what it was exactly. Yeah. But it was really cool looking.
Yeah, because she started with just the white paper. Yeah. And you couldn't even tell that the white paper was on a table that had a corner.
Yeah, I mean there were like lines.
And I still don't know if it had a corner. Because even though
the way that she went down, but
I know, but you don't know if it was on a flat surface. And I thought this is because when you lay it out, it looks like a flat surface. When so cool.
Yeah, because it wouldn't go down like that if I don't know.
It was pretty interesting. So definitely this artist knew how to create perspective. And so I thought that is really cool. And there was an artist that from I don't know how you knew that this artist painted the royals. How did you know about him? Tell me about him.
So Hans Holbein was he was the most famous artist during the Tudor era. And I know that a lot from documentaries and stuff. There was a documentary I watched about the English Renaissance. And that's how I knew, because he was a German artist. And also from the musical Six, there's a whole song dedicated to his paintings.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so he had a painting in there.
He had two. Technically, it was two. One of them was someone had copied his.
A recreation of his. Yeah. Is that the Jesus one? Yeah. That was the recreation, right? It's the Jesus one. So and I could say something, but it would turn really political, so I won't. But yeah. So that was the recreation, but the other one was an original.
Yeah.
Of his, which was amazing.
Also, sorry, relating to the Jesus one, this was at a time where, because it was when Henry VIII was the king, where the English, and not even just England, but also Germany as well, were turning to Protestantism and away from Catholicism. So that's.
It was a significant portrait or picture. Yeah. I wouldn't say portrait because it looked like he was on an autopsy table. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. But it was interesting. And but not just, again, it wasn't just the paintings, it wasn't just the video recreation. You go into another room and there's bronze sculptures. And I'm telling you, there was a bronze sculpture of a chair and then a hat just suspended. And I looked very closely at that chair because you could get right up on it. I mean, technically, if you were weird and couldn't appreciate art, you would sit on it. But I did not. But I did look very close. I didn't touch it. But I mean, I got my eyes right up on it to see if it was like a wooden chair with the wicker seat or if it was bronze. And I was like, I can't tell unless I touch it. And I was afraid to touch it because, you don't do that. Yeah. And so I just appreciated the fact that exhibit was right there. And that artist was so amazing to be able to create that from bronze, that it looked like wood and straw. It was amazing. That was just, and there were some huge pictures in there, paintings that I love a big painting.
I wouldn't even necessarily say they were paintings, they were like collages.
With the one with the three women?
Which
Do you
one are
remember
you talking
that?
about?
The
Oh,
blue,
you're talking
the
about
blue
the other
dresses.
room.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
The room with the chair was the one with the collages.
Yes. I'm sorry. Yeah, I got. But there was because there was like a hiker's backpack, old like it. It's not our backpacks. It was like a basket that was filled with stuff and just basically had silk yarn or pulled around it to close it up.
There's the one that was all the photos, and they attached the shoes that were in the photo. Not even a big part of the photo. They weren't even. They were just kind of in the background of some of the photos, and they were attached to the.
Yeah, and it was one of those. Cool. That collage made me think, oh, I'm supposed to look in it to find the shoes, kind of thing.
But they were all like off from each other. Where like it was a continuation of each photo, but the photos were like off, not connected like you would expect them to be.
Yeah, they weren't put together like a perfect puzzle. Yeah. They were like scattered puzzle pieces. Yeah. Yes, I loved that one too. And they had the shoes, kind of just attached to it to give that a visual effect, that 3D visual effect. That was just amazing. I would have never thought to do it. I probably would have said, oh, these are the shoes, and they would have been like in a box outside of it. I wouldn't have thought I thought that was very creative. But yeah, and so we had several rooms that we got to explore. Yeah. So it wasn't, a washout. Even though we a whole wing, a whole downstairs we didn't get to go in.
It's already a really small museum, so
it is small, but it just they do such a good job of giving the right space for the right art. I don't remember if you remember one of the first times we ever visited this museum, there was this room, and at the end of the room, there was a bench you could sit on to observe one painting. Do you remember? And it was the painting of the Swiss Alps, and there was a cow in the foreground. Okay. I could never get over that. I mean, I wanted to sit and look at that huge painting all day long. And it's no longer in there, even though it actually belongs to the museum. Because they're doing other, displays and other Ausstellungen. So, but I know one day it'll be back, and I'll get to go and see it again. Because I know it had gone away for a while, but it came back. They brought it back. I think when Emilia was here, and we went. But I love going to the art museum with her because, I go in and I just look with the eye to the whatever it is. To the painting, to the picture, to the video, to whatever's hanging from the ceiling. That's the way I view it. But because she's an artist, she was just like, oh my God, come here. And showing me how to look at it. And like there was this one exhibit that was brown glass. And there lots of different shapes on the glass. But it was in one room, but you had to go through the door of the other room to get the full effect of it. Okay. And she said, no, you got to see this. Okay. And she showed me how to look through the door of one room that is already filled with other art that I'm already looking at with my eyes because I don't know any other way to look. And showed me how to look back. It was pretty amazing. My hair looks like a mess. Sorry, people. But anyway, I'm just gonna leave it alone. So I think that has just been an experience for me. Is learning how to appreciate another person's vision. Yeah. There's you can see it in nature. Now I'm a nature person. I try to get outside as often as I can throughout the week. And sometimes it's just to go sit on the rocks at the river. Sometimes it's to hike for a long way or, even just float down the river. And that's, but you can just see kind of art in nature, or I can. And I know others can too, because they'll take a chainsaw and if there's like a dead stump, they can carve it into something that I recognize, like a beaver. And it's just amazing. And so, sometimes, like yesterday, I would just say, your dad and I have been on a lot of hikes. But this one, there were rocks covered in moss that I honestly felt like this could be my living room furniture. I felt a sense of comfort that I just thought, I was exhausted. And, it was a really, really, really hard hike. But there was this sense of comfort in the stupid rocks. I saw art in the rocks. You ever felt that?
Yeah.
I know.
Sorry, I'm really tired and I'm cold.
It's okay. It is getting that time of year. As you can see how we're dressed, it's cold. Has been since the end of September. So, we definitely have our wardrobes ready for that. And, by the way, I don't think it's too late. You can probably still get that 30% discount on Open Wardrobe if you just type in Wine 30. So, of course I'm going to recommend that to everybody. We really appreciate what Julia did for us. Okay, so we're going to wrap this up, our little art discussion. And I don't know. It's been good for me. I hope it's been good for you.
We'll be back next week with a new bottle of wine and a new topic. In the meantime, if you want to join the conversation, you can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky at Wine Together Pod. Join our Facebook group, Wine Together Podcast. And if you don't want to miss out on our regular weekly episodes, along with all of our bonus content, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts, as well as liking, subscribing, and commenting on our YouTube, Wine Together Podcast.